Hey guys, this is Mel, and I am back to talk about the originals. This time specifically, the Season 5 spoilers that were revealed at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. I'm recording on July 23rd, 2017, and the panel for the originals happened on July 22nd, 2017, all the way in San Diego. So, guys, for this video, I'm only taking spoilers specifically from what it was revealed in the official panel that happened. Any other spoilers said elsewhere I will not be included in this video, but if there are some that maybe they didn't mention in the panel, let me know in the comments down below. But let's get this all started. The fact that who was there previously. So we do have Julie Plec returning with the announcement that Season 5 is the final season of the originals. Joining her, we have Joseph Morgan, who plays Klaus, Daniel Gillies for Elijah, Phoebe Tonkin for Haley, Charles Michael Davis for Marcel, Yusuf Gatewood for Vincent, and Riley Volkel for Freya. So we have all of them in attendance. They also showed a trailer or video recap, as you could say. So with that said, it's pretty much just old footage from both the originals and from the Vampire Diaries, showing the legacy behind the Michelsons, except it's all with the voiceover done by a teenage version of Hope. So we get her rendition of what the Michelsons have been through, or her recapping just all the struggles that have happened over the last 4 seasons of the originals, some implications of what they went through the Vampire Diaries. So there's that. At the very end, we actually see her for the first time painting as she is throughout the video. But we have Hope vowing to not give up on Always and Forever, and she actually paints the hollow symbol once again, the serpent eating its own tail thing. So there is that for the trailer. I highly suggest you go watch it. I'll include a link in the description down below for the video. But it definitely amps you up for the final season, which is also the mid-season release is when we're going to get it. So it's going to be after the new year. So we have quite a long way to go. So aside from Teenage Hope, that's the only new footage shown, because it was revealed later on in the panel that they actually start filming for Season 5 tomorrow, which is July 24th, and they go all the way until Christmas for the filming. So we wouldn't actually get any new footage, but they've mentioned about reading a few scripts so far for the season. So there is that. So let's move on to what actually was revealed in the panels for spoiler-wise. Again, I'm getting this strictly from the panel itself, brought to you by the YouTube channel Clever News is where I found the 3-part clips that covered the panel. So there's that. I'll put a link for those down below as well, so you can have so you can go watch it for yourself though. But it was in the time slot of an hour, so I'm definitely not going to talk that long, though. But pretty much, they talk about the recasting of Hope, which she's supposed to be a teenager. They referenced a few times that she's supposed to be 17, so we'll actually have to figure out when the show actually comes back, if that's how old she is. If that's the case, then it's 10 years into the future we're going into for the time jump. But recasting of Hope is done by actress Danielle Rose Russell. And so a lot of, when it came to her, it was about casting Hope and what made them choose her and all that. Time jump, again, I'm assuming it's 10 years, but they mention only the time jump in regards to the fact that Hope is now a teenager, and the fact that since all the characters are all immortal, their appearances won't matter, but Vincent and Freya are the only mortal characters, so they're going to have aged quite a bit, if at all, if it were. So they did mention a brief bit about that. They did talk about Elijah's amnesia, and just the extent of it is what they're going to explore. Daniel was talking about him trying to figure out just how much Elijah was made to forget, and he's interested in playing those different aspects of it. Julie did mention the fact that there is one Elijah-centric episode that they've seen, that they have planned out so far, and that is in episode 503, and Joseph was actually the one that's going to be directing that episode. So there's that. They also brought up that Marcel has stayed with Rebecca in New York, but something is going to force him back to New Orleans, so that's how we get his return. They didn't mention at all if we're going to see Rebecca at all in that instance. I'm assuming we're definitely going to see, if we see that moment where he has to be called back, we're definitely going to see her reaction to it, but nothing outside of that was mentioned for her. And then they did talk about Elijah and Haley, because as we know, they've been separated. Not only the fact that Elijah now holds a part of the hollow inside of him, but he also had his memories erased And then also Haley can't go near Elijah because Haley goes where Hope goes, and Hope can't go near any piece of the hollow. So there's that. But they did mention the fact that Elijah and Haley are meant to be this eternal and epic love. They both saw each other's darknesses, and they're reacting from that. With Haley, though, she saw the darkest parts of Elijah, and now she's trying to figure out a life not only without him, but without a man catering to protect her. She's trying to be her own champion and all that, and she wants to keep that aspect with Hope. But Julie Plec did mention that she hopes for a way to bring them back together in an organic manner. So there is that. Also, when the talk of villains came up, Julie mentions that there are all kinds of threats that we're going to be seeing, especially in regards to the aftermath of what the Hollow did to the Michelsons, and that is separating them. And we're going to see the consequences of that, or consequences in the fact of, can any of the Michelsons actually be near each other? And if so, what happens when that happens? We're going to see Klaus being alone, and he's definitely not a rule follower, so we're going to see the fallout for that. They also brought up attention to the fact that we are getting Caroline Forbes in the season premiere. Joseph mentioned on the fact that he's read some scenes that Klaus and Caroline do have together. Julie pointed out that Caroline is the headmistress of Hope's boarding school. So there's that, as well as the fact that Caroline is also another character who has seen Klaus at his worst over in the Vampire Diaries, and then seen his journey to becoming the father that he is now. And then kind of having an input or some type of an influence of him being alone again. So there's that. In regards to other familiar faces, Julie hopes that we could see Alaric Saltzman again, since he is the headmaster of the same boarding school. So hopefully we get to see that happen. It'd be really great to see Hope interacting with both Caroline and Alaric, just to see how, after all these years, how they have influenced her, or how that type of dynamic between them has changed over the years. So there's that. Keelan was also brought up she's definitely coming back for season 5, so she's still with Freya from the sounds of it. But Julie made a point of saying that she's definitely seen in a few of the beginning episodes of the season. So there's that. There was one fan question that talked about recurring themes. Since this is the final season, they were wondering if we're going to see anything from like season 1 being drawn back into the final season. Like we saw with Klaus's wooden horse he gave to Rebecca, only to come back to be given to Hope. Elijah's red door. The Hollow and Vincent's wife being introduced in season 2 briefly, and then to come back in season 4. Julie mentions that there are going to be recurring themes. It's probably going to be done in the same sense back on the Vampire Diaries with the season 8. We got a lot of callbacks to the previous seasons, as season 8 was their final season, so we're definitely going to see recurring themes of some sort. So there's that. And then also one final thing, when the question of character happiness came up, Julie made a point of saying that she wants all of her characters to find their sense of peace. That doesn't necessarily equal to happiness, she wanted to clarify, but just she wants to feel like her characters have reached their peace, or have reached within reaches of getting that peace, or if they're set on the correct path of doing so. And yep, that's pretty much everything I picked out of the panel that was season 5 specific. Otherwise, a lot of the panel was reminiscing over the last 4 years, what they're going to take away with it being the final season and all that. So, and a few jokes here and there. But again, I'm going to put the link for all 3 parts that I watched down in the description box below, so you can have a look for yourself. But otherwise, guys, what are you excited for in the season 5? What do you hope is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I love to hear your own thoughts, there's opinions about that. We got a long way to go before we actually see anything. So I'd love to hear about any theories you might have. I definitely have some lingering thoughts too. So there's that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. So go check that out. Same for WordPress. Everything's connected there. You know the drill. So go check that out as well. And that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back when the originals return to see what I have to say about the final season. So until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.